Oh, yeah, microphone's on, please. All right. The November 13th, 2024 meeting of the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is called to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, the Municipal Code Enforcement Board is charged with conducting hearings to determine whether an alleged violation of the city code has occurred. Decisions made by this quasi-judicial board will be based on the evidence and facts presented tonight. Our meetings are conducted in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order, and each case will begin with the city presenting its evidence of the alleged violation. The respondent will then present his or her case. Both parties will have an opportunity to cross-examine all witnesses. The board members may question any witness. Comments by both parties must be relevant to the case. Persons wishing to speak will be given an opportunity to do so by the chairman and must address the board from the podium after giving their name and address. Upon request, copies of materials submitted by the staff are available for review. Board members are reminded to obtain permission to speak from the chair, and questions of the city should be directed to the attorney for the city. At this time, I will ask all persons who expect to give testimony tonight to stand and be sworn in by the city clerk.
Stand and raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will provide the board tonight will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
All right, so cases will be taken out of order tonight to accommodate respondents and witnesses present at tonight's meeting. At this time, I would like to ask the board members if they have had any ex parte communications regarding any matters coming before the Code Enforcement Board this evening. If you have had verbal communications, please disclose the sum and substance of the communications, when and where the communications occurred, and with whom it occurred. If you have received any written communications, please disclose the nature of the communications and provide it to the city clerk to be filed in the record. Start with Juan.
No, sir.
This communication was from the person, his name is Hussam. I don't know if he's going to be present tonight. He was going to come and ask for extension, but we had the hurricane. And I think he talked to you and you told him, because his $25 per day, it's for a fence.
Yes.
Some kind of fence.
Yeah.
So that's the only, he called me. And I told him, you know, we did not have a meeting last time, and I directed him to talk to you.
Yes, I spoke to him yesterday.
Okay, he's going to be present tonight?
No.
Okay, then no other ex parte.
Okay.
I have none.
I've had none.
I've had none.
I've had none.
So we'll move on to approval of the minutes. Minutes of the regular meeting that was held on September 11th, 2024. Have all the board members received the minutes of that meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If the minutes are acceptable, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, so now we are going to vote to approve the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays. Motion has passed. All right, so we'll move on to the cases, the hearings. I think number one, we're going to do case number 24-1754, City versus Jim Dye. Let's see. So I guess you'll announce the...
First case this evening is case number 24-1754, City versus Jim Dye, for the property located at 203 South Lockmore Avenue. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-012-13C, roofs, exterior and interior, maintained in good repair. The case will be presented this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chairman, board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on April the 22nd, 2024. My inspection revealed overgrown grass and weeds. There was no address posted on the front of the structure. There was fascia stains on the front and both sides of the residence, and the front soffit was in disrepair. At this time, I left 3 door hangers with the re-inspection date of the 24th and the 30th of April, and also May the 27th, 2024. My inspection on June the 5th, 2024 noted the grass had been mowed, the fascia surrounding the structure had been pressure washed, and the house numbers were now affixed to the building front. However, the front soffit was still in disrepair, therefore a notice of violation was prepared with the compliance date of the 20th of June, 2024. No one was at home, so I posted the notice letter at the front door and requested copies be sent certified in first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. Mr. Vice Chairman, on June the 12th, 2024, Mr. Dye contacted me about the remaining violation. Excuse me. He asked for additional time to bring the property into compliance, and an extension until the 12th of August, 2024 was granted. At this time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the violation taken by me on the June the 5th, 2024. May I submit, sir?
Sure, yeah, please.
Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the front soffit in disrepair. As of today's date, the site is not in compliance, and I am seeking a ruling. Also, Mr. Vice Chairman, the respondent is here in attendance this evening, Mr. Dye, and would like to come up and address the board.
Of course, but first, well, I have a question first. Did you say that both violations were still not in compliance?
No, sir, the other violations have been brought into compliance. The address posting on the front of the structure and also the fascia stains on the front and both sides of the residence have been brought into compliance. The only violation that remains would be the front soffit in disrepair.
Okay. Are there any questions for the code
So
enforcement?
we're looking tonight at
Wait.
one violation.
Yes, sir. We're looking at one violation. It started out where there was more, but Mr. Dye did take care of quite a few things, and we're able just to have one remaining, sir.
Okay.
It seems pretty minor. What are you looking for?
Honestly, just either repair that wood that's rotten right there, Mr. Hubert. Like I said, there was other violations on the property, and going up to the front of the structure, we are trained to take a look at everything on a property. So I had overgrown grass that I could see from the street. I could see the fascia stains walking up to the door. You get closer and you see other things. I wanted to make sure that that got addressed as well, and not just have the grass cut, as that is a violation as well, and would just like to get it brought into compliance.
Okay.
Do you think it's structural endangerment?
No, sir, I don't believe that. It's not that big of an area. Again, it's the front coming into the respondent's home. So it looks like the wood is just in disrepair. Probably needs some new wood right there, and I think that he would be pretty good to go.
It looks like in the second picture, the gutters seem to be separating or falling down. Is that just a trick of the photograph, or is
I
that?
think it's just maybe a trick, Mr. Redding, of the photograph. The gutters are fine on the structure. It's just that soffit right there.
Anyone else? All right, thank you.
Mr. Dye is here. Mr. Vice Chairman, you'd like to come up?
Sure, yeah, please.
Hello, council. I'm here on behalf of my
Name-
father.
Name and address.
Oh, sorry, John Dye, 203 South Lockmore Avenue, Temple Terrace. Here on behalf of my father. He is the owner of the property. I'm residing there currently, and it's just till he can make it back down here. Unfortunately, he's suffering from degenerative health, and not able to make it down here while I'm here for him. Sorry, getting a little emotional here as I'm just thinking about him. But I know it's been quite a posting since Terry here has said here. I've been unemployed for a few months throughout the spring and pretty much summer, and was just hired at Winn-Dixie early September, and it's been a roller coaster. So I'm just asking for a month, maybe 2 months at max, to try to find somebody, because I've been basically outsourcing myself through customers that I've been familiar with, and trying to see if they know any handyman personally and so forth. And it hasn't been that great of a find, but I feel like I do have a couple of leads, and if I have maybe a month, maybe 2 months at max, I can get this fixed. It's just my dad, unfortunately, is living off of Social Security and getting old, and he was residing up in North Carolina at the time and trying to make it down here while selling that house up there. So yeah, this is where I stand, and I do appreciate your patience here and your time, but I would like maybe another month at max, if maybe 2, if possible, to have this fixed. It's not that much, of a hazard to the public. It's just, roofing panels or a side panel there and the soffits that needs to be fixed. I've been trying to make progress on all the other rest of the property, as she has stated, with mowing the lawn and keeping the fascia clean and so forth. But we used to have a handyman ourselves, and we had him for like almost 20 years, and he did everything around the house, everything for a great price. Unfortunately, he died back in this January, and so we don't have that kind of handyman anymore. And I don't outsource myself that much. I'm not that much of an outgoing guy, but yeah. So yeah, I just really wish, for more time here. I really request and beg of you, just a month, maybe 2 months at that, and go from there. And I promise we'll have it fixed.
Any questions for the respondent?
I have a question. You said you have a couple leads. Do you have any quotes?
No, the leads I have actually are just based off of phone numbers that I've contacted them about, and this was actually in the past couple weeks. But unfortunately, because those leads are booked up themselves, they aren't able to make it out to get a quote for me. So I've got them going. I just need a little bit more time for them to have the time to come out and get that estimate and then work on it. They tell me that, once they're done with their previous jobs, that they'll be able to get it done. But they're so booked up right now. Again, it's just only a couple of leads. That's all I have.
So, Tom, there's no permits or architectural drawings required for a repair like
No.
this, correct?
No.
Okay.
Can I ask our calendar ends this month. Do we know what December and January? December
11th.
December 11th.
Okay.
All right, there are no further questions? Oh, did you have one?
No, I don't. I'm just flailing. No.
Okay, thank you. So, all right, so if there are no further questions, then I'm gonna, looking for a motion from board member.
Yeah, I'll do it.
December. December.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
December 11, 2024.
There you go.
Important.
In case number 241754, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 203 South Lockmore Avenue, with the applicable code violation, Section 8-102, subsection 13, subsection C. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer, Lori Smith, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and a notice of violation, of which received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before December 11th, 2024. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I, I would like to see maybe go into January, give him 60 days.
I was gonna
Well,
do that.
the reason I say that, I talked to a handyman like 2 weeks ago. He showed up to my house this weekend and said, oh, I'll get you my estimates and et cetera.
We-
And I still don't have it. So I'm just
I
thinking,
consider that. I was gonna go for 2 months, but since he can come back our next meeting and ask for another extension for another month, that would be, so it won't take every case 2 months and 2 months. I know it's
yeah, I know, I just.
becomes, I think, I don't want to make it a trend.
Agreed. I would agree with that. Like, I understand the 2 months. At the same time,
Yeah.
communication is best. So, that's where I feel.
Any other discussion? All right, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays, all right. So, just a little further explanation about what just happened. You were found in violation, $25 per day fine that will start in a month, after the next meeting. If it turns out that you can't get the repairs done in that time, you can always come back here and ask for an extension. There's no guarantees that it'll be granted, but you can ask for an extension at that time, at the next meeting. Any questions? December 11th, yeah, sorry.
That's what I thought I heard earlier, yeah.
Okay,
I appreciate it, thank you so much, Council.
you're welcome. All right, so, next case?
Next case this evening is case number 24-4469, City versus Randy Allen Punsack and Jenna Ella Punsack. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 12-861E6, fences appearance, and Section 10-34 sanitation due to keep premises clean. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Director Tom Baroni. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Tom Baroni, Code Compliance. This case this evening originated on September 24th, 2024, when I observed a collapsed 6-foot fence along the south property line as well as a pile of tree debris. Since the property had no trespassing signs posted, I generated a notice of violation with the compliance date of October 15th, 2024. I have posted the notice letter at the property line, and I also requested copies be sent out certified in first-class mail. I also requested a copy to be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. On my reinspection on October 22nd, 2024, I noted no change. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me on September 24th, 2024. Exhibit number 1 notes the damaged fence and the pile of tree debris along the south property line. Exhibit number 2 shows the posting of the notice letter at the property line. Exhibit number 3 shows the posting of the notice of hearing at the property line as well. I'd like to submit as evidence, sir.
Yes, please. Please do.
My inspection on November 1st, 2024, noted that the tree debris had been removed from the front yard. However, the fence still remains out of compliance. I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance for the tree debris.
Please, yeah, please submit.
I don't have it.
I don't have that one either.
Mr. Chairman, I just spoke to the respondent earlier this evening, and he advised me that the fence doesn't belong to him, it belongs to his neighbor. So along this fence line, there were banners that the students of USF put on the fence, indicating to me that I thought it was their fence as well. So that property up there was annexed into the city maybe about 20 years ago.
Yep.
So there was no permits for that fence, and that's why I really couldn't determine who actually the ownership was. So the respondent's gonna come up to tell you that that's not his fence, that it's his neighbor's fence. So if I find that that's true, I will, put the property in compliance tomorrow morning, and I'll eliminate this violation if it's not his fence.
Can I ask?
But as of,
So, yeah,
let me just complete. So as of right now, The ownership, to me, still belongs on him until I can verify that that fence doesn't belong to him. So I'm gonna have a conversation with the neighbor next door, as well as look up at the property files and stuff like that.
So for the purposes of this meeting, we're still consider this violation to be, there to be a violation with, involving the fence,
Yes,
correct?
because I spoke to the respondent maybe 3 weeks ago. He did not tell me that that was not his fence.
Okay.
So he just got made aware of it from the neighbor next door. And he'll explain to you when he comes up to the podium.
Okay.
Am I allowed to ask a question now?
Sure, sure. Yes.
Why would you not do a survey
Well, the survey,
to figure out where the fence is?
sometimes we have that on file at City Hall, yes.
Okay,
But this property did not require, this was annexed in 20 years ago.
right.
So they may have not pulled a fence permit through the city, and I know they haven't, because there is no survey on file.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I
Not
understand what
on
you're
file,
saying.
I get that, no, I get it, I get it.
But if you know that property, there's banners that are attached to that.
Yep.
All the way from the front yard to the rear yard.
Yep,
That would make me indicate that it's their fence.
yeah, on one side or the other, I got it. Okay,
But the neighbor is saying to this gentleman here, the respondent, that it's his fence. Not his fence, the neighbor's fence.
okay,
So the respondent will explain to you when he gets up here as well.
got it, thank
Okay.
you.
Any other questions for Director Baroni? Okay, thank you. Sure. All right, so please come forward.
Randy Punsack, 12214 North 51st Street. As Tom had mentioned, after the storms of this past season, there's some overlap where we were both out of town. The neighbor was out of town when the original tree happened during Tropical Storm Debbie. And then I was out of town the entire month from the end of September through the weekend right before Halloween. So some of this correspondence that was happening back and forth, I did not receive. It was going to my tenants who lived there, my son and his college roommates. So that explains some of the discrepancy, or somehow the tree debris got in violation. When I returned home, I made a call based off the letters that I had received, and immediately gotten everything that was in violation that I believed to be my responsibility taken care of immediately. While we were gone, the neighbor had informed me that his fence had been damaged by the tree that had fallen. And then we have one also on the inside of the wood fence, a chain link fence is part of it. So the boys did hang USF banners from the fence. I stopped at the property this evening, told them to remove that. So those will all be gone while we figure out whose fence it really is. We just purchased the home about 2 years ago, and the 6-foot wood fence is not in our survey. The portion of a chain link fence is in our survey, so I have no reason to believe that it's ours after the neighbor told me it was his, and then it's not listed in our survey as part of any of our closing package. So that's why we've not done anything with it. I had shared with Tom earlier that if we find that it is the property that I own's fence's responsibility, we'll take care of it. I would just ask for an extension at that point in time, just due to the expense and the length of the fence that it is.
So you said there's a chain link fence that is on your property, and
Yeah, on the
but
inside.
that's not damaged.
No,
then
it's
the wood
it's not in full. So the chain link, the
Yeah.
wood fence is here, the chain link's on the inside.
Gotcha.
The chain link's not in full, it's a portion of it. The chain link is on our survey, the wood fence is shown on the survey, but ownership is not committed.
Okay. So the wood fence is the only thing that's in violation.
At this time, yes.
Okay, okay. Any other questions?
Yes, it's for Tom. Can this case be continued rather than having a finding?
Yes.
I think it's a better idea, rather than finding something in violation that's not belonging to this.
Yes, I agree. But I just want to let you know, this violations were way prior to the 2 hurricanes. So I don't want you to think we were out there violating,
Yeah.
citing people for damage. This was in September, so this is
Yeah,
way before
Debbie.
the.
August 3rd is when the
Right.
original damage.
But
Way before the 2 hurricanes.
the thing is, now it's for Ernie. How could we do that? Because he has 2 and he took care of 1. Can we separate it as continuous, or can we decide on it next time? I don't know.
You can just make a motion to continue case, identifying this case number until, I guess, the December 11th. Hopefully, you'll have opportunity to discern whose fence it is. Sounds like it's the neighbor's fence.
Because we have,
And if that's the case, then I think that Tom will probably remand the remaining, or dismiss the remaining case and bring it, if it's the neighbor's, would then bring a new case.
because he has a case, he's in compliance, we have to give him that compliance too, right?
Well, no, they already have an affidavit of compliance in.
Yes.
Well, he's just asking what verbiage should he
I would
read
just
to
Continue it, yes,
continue the case, the whole thing, and then
whole
just.
thing, okay.
Well, are we able to order the city to do a survey?
No.
Like, that seems like
He already has.
Why would the city do a survey
to figure out whose fence it is. Where is the fence?
He already
Right?
Well, why would the city spend the money?
Well, I question.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
why
no,
would they?
No, I think we have a survey that's gonna be
Okay.
made available.
I think it'll be figured out,
I think
Okay.
we'll provide enough evidence, and Tom will certainly investigate.
yeah. I
We'll
think,
see where we're at in a month.
yes.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
So, any other questions for the respondent?
I will make a motion to continue, yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll do that for the whole case, right? We'll do that, just do that for the whole case, right?
Yeah, for the whole case.
That was what we decided. Okay, all right.
It's,
All right, so if there are no further questions.
it's
you-
not in
You're welcome to
compliance, right? It's not.
You
like,
can be
we-
seated if you want.
We
Correct.
don't want
It's
to.
just That particular violation is open and pending right now. We're just gonna continue.
Okay,
We'll
so
continue the whole case. The complied one will go with it. He already knows that's complied. No risk of being fined for that violation.
okay, so I would like if I wanted to make a motion, I would say I want to make a motion to continue this for a month until December. What was it?
11th.
December 11th.
Correct.
Until we can figure out whose fence is whose, and we can make a choice.
Yeah, good job. You want to carry it.
Second that. There we go. If I wanted to, I want to.
So let's go ahead and go forward with a motion. And
Okay, I want to make a motion to continue this case until December
You
11th.
mentioned the case number.
Case number 24-4469, City vs. Randy Allen Punsac and Jenny Ella Punsac. Sections 12-861, subsection E, subsection 6. Continue until December 11th, until we can figure out whose fence is whose.
did you want to add the, I guess,
I don't want to add a fine yet.
well, though, the complied,
Continue.
you didn't.
Yeah, continue the case until then to find a finding, I guess, right?
With both violations.
And if it turns out that it's the neighbor's fence, Tom will probably just dismiss that violation, and what will be left is the one that has already been complied. Make a finding on.
That's a weird one.
Okay, yeah.
He doesn't have to be present here, we'll just give you clearance.
No, don't really.
I won't say yea or nay to that, that's up to him and Tom. They'll look at it.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so time to take a vote. Oh, excuse me, is there any further discussion about this case? Anybody else? Okay, all right, so let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays? The motion has passed. So we will, we'll continue this on December 11th. Okay, all right.
Sorry, that was weird.
Well, that was, I don't think we've ever come across anything like this in the past that I know of.
I don't think so.
No, so, okay. All right, so next case?
Next case is case number 24-4577, City versus Andrew D. Henry for the property located at 329 Sunnyside Road. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, permit application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Stephen Valley. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chairman and board members. My name is Stephen Valley, Code Compliance Officer. This case tonight originated back on October 4th, 2024, when community development issued a stop work order for the installation of pavers and a drainage pipe that is discharging into the adjacent neighbor's property causing flood damage. I prepared a notice of violation with the reinspection of October 10th, 2024. I posted the notice letter at the front door and requested copies to be sent out to certified and class mail, first class mail. I also requested a copy to be posted at City Hall for a 10-day requirement. My reinspection on November 1st, 2024 noted no change. Therefore, I prepared a notice of hearing and scheduled the case for the November Municipal Code Board meeting. I would like to submit the photographic evidence at this time. I submit evidence.
Sure, yeah, please submit. Thank you.
Exhibit 1 shows the NOV posting. Exhibit 2 shows the stop work orders. Exhibit 3 and 4, these photos, sir, were sent to the code staff on September 19th, 2024 from Mr. Fetterman, which is the adjacent property for the drainage, that lives at 330 Bahamas Ave, showing the pavers coverage in the rear yard, drain pipe, and the flooding into the neighbor's home. Mr. Vice Chairman, the city's building official, Dallas Foss, is here this evening and is available for any questions the board may have tonight. The site is not in compliance and I am seeking a ruling.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions for the code enforcement officer?
Yeah, can he explain to me a little bit further on Exhibit 4? What's that fall in? Those are all cracked pavers?
Those are the pavers that were put onto the property, and there's a pipe there right in the center. That's the drainage.
Oh, this is a drainage pipe.
Yes, and the pavers all around that was put in. Those aren't cracked, those are the actual pavers.
Okay. This pipe is supposed to be under the pavers, right?
I believe so. You might want to, Miss Dallas Frost might be able, excuse me. Yes, Dallas Frost might be able to answer those questions a lot better.
Okay.
So just one question for me. So the stop work order that's been complied with? I mean, there's no, or has the work already been completed?
The stop work orders were actually from what Dallas Frost told me. They have been removed. He placed them there twice, and they were removed from the site by the property owner.
Has the work been completed? That was my question.
It's a question for Mr. Frost. I'm not sure if it was completed or not.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for the code enforcement officer? All right, so I guess we need to hear from either the respondent or, I guess, first from
Dallas Foss.
From Dallas, yeah.
Well, do you have any questions for Dallas right now, or do you want to hear from the respondent?
Well, here, I want him to explain this situation a little bit more into the technical ways so we can, I don't understand the case.
Like what needs to happen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And what kind of permitting they went through and all that.
Dallas Foss Builder, at this point, there is no permit for the pavers in the backyard at all. The drainage pipes were there at one point, and it drained through the rear yard of the grass. Now they put pavers down, the water's flowing, and 330 Bahamas is what the water's going to as a new home. He's now collecting water around his property in his lanai area, which is runoff from the Sunnyside home. But they have not requested any permits or anything for any pavers in the rear yard of the Sunnyside address.
But they're required to have it.
Yes, they are required to have a permit for that.
Okay, and this pipe, is it a perforated pipe underground to take
I
that?
did not go in the rear yard. I walked up the front to the property when we posted the stop work orders. You can see the pipe does go across the driveway. There's a collection point there and a grading, and it runs to the side of the house to the rear yard. But I have not been in the backyard to see what's there. The only evidence I have of the backyard is what the photographs were sent by the neighbor.
Original plans shows there is a pipe there.
Now, the pipe was there previously, because looking at the evidence, it was there when I was on site. The pipe had been there for some time. But when they changed the rear yard from soil and grass to pavers. Now it's collecting the water and sending it off under the adjacent owners. Instead of being able to let it dissipate and go into the ground, it's now flowing across the yard and into everyone else.
What kind of permit do they require on this?
It's a site permit for putting down pavers. It's a paver permit. Anything over 100 square feet or that it requires. It also comes with our zoning codes is your lot coverage. You're allowed a 47.5% coverage of your lot. So all that has to be brought in with a survey showing what they're doing, to have it all reviewed to make sure we're not exceeding anything to cause adverse effects on the neighbors.
During the application for a permit, would it have been discovered that the runoff change, like would that change have been discovered?
Yeah, well, I noticed it by looking at aerial photographs from the property appraiser, and you can see the time frame of nothing there, nothing at trees, to all of a sudden, boom, trees are gone and pavers are there.
I mean, it looks like it's providing a pretty significant change to the flow of water around the property. Had he applied for a permit ahead of time, would part of that application process have uncovered that?
Yeah, I covered that to say, okay, what are we gonna do with the water, your runoff, where's it
Okay,
gonna go?
so there would have been like an analysis.
An analysis to say, we gotta keep it on the site somewhere.
Okay.
And there was some comment about removal of stop work orders from the property, is
There were
that?
2 stop workers, Matthew Cook, the other inspector, posted the home.
Yeah.
I followed up, posted again, and both stop workers were taped to the front windows, have been removed.
But the work, is there any continued work that's being done, as far as you can
As
tell?
far as I know, the pavers, I think, was already there, everything was done.
Everything was already,
Basically, it's an after-the-fact
Pretty much
requirement to
completed.
get it taken care of.
okay.
So I'm looking at pavers, and I'm looking at what appears to be base. So is this
That is 330, the ones in,
for, and this looks as
the
if this.
pavers are the rear of 329.
Okay,
The other photographs are the 330 Bahamas, which is the property behind him.
this is the neighbor, this is,
Correct.
okay.
The home basically has a U shape on the back of it with a lanai in the center, and that's where all the water is running into, is
Okay.
onto that lanai area.
Also, Dallas, one more question. Is there any ditch around the area where they can use that pipe to pipe the runoff?
Stormwater. As far as I know, there isn't a drainage area back there.
But all that would
Check
come up during the
stormwater.
permitting process.
That's going to go through
That would be determined during the permitting process, correct? Yeah, all that.
And we're looking just violation of not having a permit.
Correct.
Okay, good.
All right, any other questions for building inspector? All right, thank you. So I guess we need to hear from the respondent now, please.
Even Council, Dr. Andrew Henry, 329 Sunnyside Road. I sent an email to the city about 3 months ago, three and a half months ago, telling them that when it rains, I have a serious water problem because where the house sits, the water comes down in Sunnyside, and then the water comes down from Brentwood, it meets and it runs straight into my garage. My house has been flooded several times. I met with Mr. Amir. He came out, spent about 5 minutes with me, said I'd hear from him in 2 weeks. He called me back in 2 weeks, and he told me that it is my problem. This drainage pipe has been there for about 5 years. My dad was visiting from New York. I was out of the country, and the house got flooded. My dad placed that drainage pipe there to divert the water to the back. At the time, my neighbor Mark, there was no house there at the time, so there was not a problem. Now, my neighbor is sitting right there, and when the water comes down, when it rains, the amount of water that he gets is washed out. If I don't have a drainage pipe there, my house is flooded. And I approached the city, and the city said, nothing to see here. It is my problem. So what I'm asking the council is, you can move the pipe, you can fine me if you want, but what happens to my house when all that water comes? if I may approach you, I'm going to show you on my phone what happens when it rains on Sunnyside.
Is that some evidence we can accept?
It's, yes, you can accept it. You're gonna give it whatever weight when it comes to this violation.
Can we pause for a minute? Maybe he can email it, and then we can get it on
The
the.
file is too big to email because it's about 2 minutes. I tried emailing it to
Could
Amir,
you,
but it
could
wouldn't
you
go through.
section like 10-minute sections or 10-second sections or whatever?
I'll try.
Like, would that be fair? It's just so we have it in the file, as opposed to just us seeing things?
Ernie, can I ask a question? In my previous experiences, if a resident have a drainage problem that's caused by the neighbors and by existing, the city or the county, whatever, whoever has jurisdiction, they can go out and investigate it, and if there is any things they can do to help the property owner, I think that's from my experience, but I just don't know how the city operates here. I can see his frustration.
Well, that's an operational thing that I'm
Yeah.
not on the operational
Yeah,
side. so-
and that's why Dallas is here, and maybe they need to further study that area and see where the runoff
Sure.
and
But the
what's.
problem, from what I'm understanding of the issue here, is the pavers.
Correct.
The pavers is what's directing all this water to the neighbor. I don't know what it was like when, it was just the pipe.
But he
I
said
can't
he
speak
put the
to that.
pavers
The
to
but the
prevent,
pavers is
yeah,
the issue.
yeah, so that's why
Whether
I
or not
asked.
the pipe was permitted and needs to be, maybe.
Yeah,
another story,
maybe
too.
when through the process of a permit,
Problems
they would
change.
figure out the whole setup. Probably that's part of what is supposed to.
I think the violation is we don't have a permit.
Yeah, yeah.
And part of the permitting process will resolve some of the things that you have questions about. They have to evaluate how much of the surface area of your property is being covered and how much is not. And basically, that's the question is, can you apply for a permit? And
I don't have a problem applying for a permit. The city told me my driveway kind of slants, so when the water comes, it turns and it comes down. The city told me I need to elevate my driveway. I have a PhD in physics. It's not going to work because the water is coming too fast off the road. The velocity with which the water is coming, elevating the driveway is not going to solve the problem. The problem is actually very easy. There's a storm drain about 80 to 90 meters to my right. The city just needs to make a ditch and divert that water into the storm drain. That's the solution.
It seems to me that there's two different issues, and I apologize for what you're going through, which is one issue, but we're here because of the permit. I mean, we're talking about two separate things, right? Is that?
I mean.
One, the violation
related,
of,
obviously.
they're related.
It sounds like they're related.
But
yeah.
this seems to be, a problem of its own that needs some resolution, which is separate from the permit for the pavers. Am I tracking correctly?
yeah, I think so, yeah.
As Bill said.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to get the permit process.
Be picked up throughout the permitting process because they're gonna figure out where the water is gonna go, and then they'll see what's your share of it too, because also there's some shares has to be done. The city will probably have some, but
We might have Dallas come back up and
yeah,
give
and
us
he explained that to us too.
more information about what the city process would be, but
I'm surprised Dallas did not go to the back of the property and actually look.
I don't think he's allowed to.
So he had made erroneous assumptions because he has not seen the complete problem.
Well, but the permit is for the coverage, the property is how much of your land is covered by pavers or concrete or whatever. That's the permitting process. That's what is in violation, basically, as far as what I understand. It's not about whether your solution is good or not. It's about, or successful. Or whether your neighbor's property is being flooded. It's how much of the property is being covered. That's the first step, and that's my understanding. How much of the property is being covered by concrete, pavers, whatever. It can only be 47% from what I understand, right? So,
I thought that was permanent, not pavers.
It's impervious, it's a matter of pervious.
Pervious, yes,
Oh, okay,
Is the water percolating down into the.
got it.
yes.
I know I'm gonna mention this to the city engineer.
I was gonna say, does an engineer need to be, does an engineer need to be involved? Like,
Well,
Obviously.
if there's a street issue, I mean, I think they should take a look, you know.
yeah,
This is a major problem. I'm at work, I'm a physician, I'm at work. If it rains, I have to be wondering if my home is gonna flood.
Yeah.
I got a 2x4. The last thing I resorted, I had to get these big 2x4 to block my driveway so my neighbor doesn't get flooded. I mean, it's
I have a question. When did you put the pavers in?
this is several years ago.
You put the pavers in several years ago?
We laid the pavers down. This was never an issue. The issue came because there was some 2x4 because I'm trying to divert the water into the storm drain. So code enforcement saw it and assumed, all right, you're about to do some type of a work and issued some work permit. I had done nothing since that permit, since they had placed that thing. I was doing no work. It was already done. So I'm at work, it rains, I have to run home to put 2x4s to prevent water from coming into my house. I have 2 trees on my house at Sunnyside from the storm. If it rained, I would not be here having this discussion with you because my house would have been flooded, would have been completely destroyed because of the volume of water that's coming off the road.
So the city's stance is, if he wants to keep the pavers, he's going to have to apply for a permit. I know there's 2 issues going on here, and sir, I sympathize with you. I hear you loud and clear. As far as the city engineer, he only inspects city properties. He doesn't go out to private properties, he doesn't inspect private properties.
Well, I get that. I mean, I'm saying he's gotta look and see if the road.
Right, no, that's 2 separate issues, and I agree with you. I'll mention it to Brian, he's the engineer, to go out there and evaluate the drainage area in the city rights-of-way to make sure that it's flowing in the right direction. But as far as the city's concerned this evening, this gentleman needs to come in and pull a permit to keep those pavers in the rear yard.
I have no problem with that.
Okay, that's what our goal is here tonight.
is there any work that has to be done aside from that? Aside from getting a permit?
No. I mean, he right now, to satisfy code enforcement, he needs to obtain a permit for those pavers. Whether they allow it or not, that's up to the planners to evaluate the application.
Percentage,
it's all about percentage of
yes, percentage
Right.
of coverage of
soil
the
that's
lot.
covered by the.
They ju-
How the water's being channeled.
Yes. So do you understand what my goal is? The city?
Sure.
Okay. So can you come into the city and pull a permit?
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So, any other questions for the respondent? Concerns?
Stephen?
Okay.
Do you have the gentleman's telephone number and contact information? Sir, would you mind if we reach out to you, sir?
Sure.
And let you know what the engineer says, or maybe he can reach out to you?
Sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm gonna give you my card too as well. Thank you, sir.
Did we have anyone else? I thought there was another person that wanted to
Sir,
testify.
Is he the neighbor?
he's the neighbor.
Good
Yes.
evening, Mark Fenneman, 330 Bahamas Avenue. Hey, just as a neighbor, I came to support Andrew because I did notice this is an issue. The house is a new construction house where I'm in, and it was just an open lot before. So this really was not an issue for Andrew because the water wasn't flowing into anybody else's house. So I could see why this was not something that had to be, addressed right away. This year we had an extensive amount of rain, and I think that the storm surge was definitely a big part of this issue because when he did put those 2x4s out, I should mention everything is on a hill. His property is elevated from mine, and then the road flows into his driveway, essentially perpendicular to Sunnyside. So yeah, there's an extensive amount of water that comes through his driveway, and what he was doing was directing the most of that away from his house when my property wasn't there. So I do hope that we can figure out a way to expedite the process with the city engineers, because I think we're all dealing with quite a bit, especially from these storms, and I think you can see how upset he is as well. So that's all I have for you.
You have any questions?
I
Just
kind of
one-
feel.
Just one question, sir. Those photos that we submitted tonight, they're your photos that
Yes.
you gave to this code
Yep,
staff?
The city asked me for them.
I kind of feel like this is a thing the city should really focus on. I mean, my neighborhood had houses that flooded in it, and I know we focus on what's here tonight, but at the same time, if there's a house that is having an issue, the city should focus on it. How can we push that as a board?
I think it sounds like,
And Brian, I hear you loud and clear, but if a property owner alters his property to cause this, that's something that we have to look
Fair
at.
enough.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that the pavers are the cause of it, but right
Right.
now, we have to go through the process of pulling a permit and let the city planners look at the plans and
then go through
determine.
the process.
Right.
Okay.
So maybe by removing the pavers, the soil will absorb the amount of rain that's flowing from that 8-inch pipe into the rear yard.
It sounds like the water is going to his driveway, not his backyard.
It's, right.
So if
That
it's-
tube,
if the engineers determine that it's a matter of how the street is, how the water flows off the street, is that something that they can do something with?
I can't speak for that.
Okay, okay.
Honestly.
Well, we'll certainly have a look at
Yeah.
Okay.
it. Ask.
All right. That's a tough one. That's a tough
yeah,
one.
we've got a couple of tough ones tonight, so. All right, so, I don't, Dallas, did you want to add anything to, okay, all right, so, I guess if there's no other questions, then we need to come up with a motion.
Yeah, before you continue, this is basically, we're gonna just come up with the finding that the property needs a permit for the pavers in the backyard. That's.
We're focused on the permit.
The other issues can be handled internally. Okay,
Yes.
all right,
Okay, I'm
okay.
seeking,
We do it?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay,
Rod.
all right.
It sounds like you want it.
Well, in case number 24-4577, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code exists on the property located at 329 Sunnyside Road, with the applicable code violation, Section 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1, permit application required. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the code enforcement officer, is Tom Baroni? Oh, Stephen, oh, sorry. Is it Stephen Valle? And along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and a notice of violation, all of which received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before December 11, 2024. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors: the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
A second.
any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion in this case? All right, let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays? All right. Okay, so just to explain what happened, you've been found in violation of not having a permit for the pavers, and you have until December 11th.
1 month.
Yeah, 1 month by the next meeting to come into compliance. If for any reason you can't get the permit or there's some problem with the permitting, you can always come back here on December 11th and request an extension. You have any questions? No. Okay. All right, thank you. So next case?
Next case is case number 24-0581, City versus Susan L. Obregon for the property located at 334 Sunnyside Road. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-102-13B, exterior walls, minimum standards, Section 8-102-13C, roofs, exterior and interior, maintained in good repair. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notion of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening again, Mr. Vice Chair and board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on February the 8th, 2024. My inspection revealed the front wall stains, also wood siding in disrepair, south and front side fascia in disrepair, and unmanicured vines on top of the rear pool cage. At this time, I left 2 door hangers with a reinspection date of the 23rd of April, 2024. My inspection on May the 8th of 2024 revealed no change. Therefore, notice of violation was prepared with the compliance date of the 23rd of May, 2024. No one was at home, so I posted the notice letter at the front door and requested copies be sent certified and first-class mail to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. Mr. Vice Chairman, Ms. Obregon reached out to me by voicemail on March the 8th, 2024, advising that she would be having a contractor in place by the end of the month to begin working on the needed corrections. On April the 8th, 2024, Ms. Obregon advised by voicemail that the vines on the top of the pool cage had been removed. The 6th of August, 2024, Ms. Obregon emailed Jennifer Hodges, who at that time was our deputy city clerk. Ms. Obregon stated in the email she would be unable to attend the August 14th, 2024 MCEB due to her being out of town for a prior engagement. August the 14th, 2024, Ms. Obregon sent an email to Code Compliance regarding her request for an extension from the August MCEB hearing to complete the necessary repair work by the end of October 2024. Director Baroni emailed Ms. Obregon and granted her an extension to the next hearing date of September the 11th, 2024. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence of the violations taken by me on May the 8th, 2024, and a copy of both emails sent to Jennifer Hodges and Code Compliance on the 6th and 14th of August, 2024.
You may submit. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Vice Chairman, although my photos do not depict the violations as clearly as I would like, I personally observed the issues that need correcting. Exhibit number 1 shows the notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the front wall stains. Also, the wood is in disrepair. It's behind the tree. Exhibit number 3 shows the front fascia in disrepair. Exhibit number 4 shows the south side fascia in disrepair. As of this morning, Mr. Vice Chair and board members, Ms. Obregon did email Director Baroni. I have a copy of that email that I would like to submit. I have 8 copies for each of you. You can just take one, take a look at it. I really would rather not read it. There's some information that's personal. I don't believe that should be spoken, sir. It's not relative to the case, but I would like to submit.
Please. As of today's dates, Mr. Vice Chairman and board members, the site is out of compliance, and I am seeking a ruling. The case has been orchestrated February of this year. Are both violations out of compliance?
Yes, sir, they are. Well, actually, now it's one violation.
Is it?
Yes, sir. Front wall stains, well, exterior walls, and you've got the fascia. No, it's 2. I'm sorry. Two violations, sir. Wall staining and wood in disrepair, as well as the fascia in disrepair on the front and the south side of the structure. Again, I'm sorry, as for the pictures but
Yeah, because I thought you said the first time she contacted you, she said she was going to clean the walls, but that didn't happen.
I believe that she did, sir. I just don't know what they use as far as a cleaning chemical.
There's still staining as far as you're concerned.
Yes, sir, there is. The stains are still there on the front, as well as the damage to the fascia, sir, on the front as well as the south side. The property is a corner, so in taking those photos, I was on a side street. It was very, very difficult. But I observed the violations. They're still at the site. And again, I am seeking a ruling.
Lori, should we still,
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
should have asked?
Yes. Nobody else is, so that's okay.
Yes. So we have all these section code violations still non-compliance.
As far as the front wall stains and the fascia, no, sir. They are not in compliance. Believe the front, maybe with the pressure washing, it didn't get off as much as the respondent would have liked to. I believe that was stated maybe in that last email, board members, as far as some painting possibly may be necessary. Hopefully that would alleviate it.
Yeah, I noticed from the email she's asking till January, and again, I don't want to make it this a trend, but she could not attend because of her work, but she's asking, like she's confirming that she's going to fix everything, and I think she's looking to sell the house. And she wants till January, but that's according to the board here.
Do we want to take a minute for everyone to get a chance to read this email?
No problem, sir.
Unless somebody else has a question for the code enforcement officer. Okay, so let's just take a minute, because I haven't had a chance to read it either.
Yes, sir.
Everyone had a chance to read the email? All right, so any other questions for Lori? Okay. All right, so I don't think the respondent's here. Obviously, she's not. She
No, sir.
said she wasn't going to be here.
Yes, sir.
So, so I guess the next step is a motion.
Mr. Vice Chairman, if I may say one other thing.
Okay.
Just being the code enforcement officer, the case has been open, sir. We've had this open since February the 8th of this year. We've definitely given time. Director Baroni has granted an extension, try to help to bring the property into compliance.
Yeah, this is a frame of reference. This started in February of last year, is that correct?
No, sir, this year.
This year,
February
February this year. Yes.
Yeah, February of this year.
I wanted to ask one more question. Is it that costly to remove the vines? It's $1,200. That seems exaggerating, but
Maybe if they came back a second time, possibly.
Can I just say the vines in Temple Terrace are insane.
yeah.
Mine, I have to pull them down every 2 weeks, like every 2 weeks. So I'll just throw that out there.
I feel sorry for her for $1,200 just to remove vines. That's, and she had to cash pension fund, and she's kind of like having some, you know.
Okay, so, do we have, I'm looking for a motion. Anybody want to
I'll
take?
do this.
Okay.
In case number 240581, I move that the city has proven by a greater way the evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 334 Sunnyside Road. It's 8-102 subsection 13 subsection B and 8-102 subsection 13 subsection C. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Lori Smith, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violations be corrected on or before December 11th. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before that date, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continues past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, and any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Did you say because
Any-
it complied by?
December 11th.
Any further discussion? All right, we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays? All right. Okay, so move to the next case.
Next case is case number 24-2069, City versus Donald J. Botts and Kaylee S. Botts for the property located at 118 Glen Ridge Drive. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Adams. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by Community Development for renovation and plumbing work being done without obtaining and paying for the needed permits on May 9th, 2024. I went directly to a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of May 16th. I posted a notice at the site, and a notice was also posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both certified and regular mail, to the address of the owner of record. A reinspection on November 1st showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing on that date, and the case was scheduled for the November Municipal Code Board meeting. This time, I'd like to submit photographic evidence of the site taken by myself on May 9th and a screenshot of the work without a permit.
All right, oh, sorry, yes, please.
At this time, the site is in compliance, and I'd also like to submit an affidavit of compliance, and I'm seeking a finding.
Awesome. Any questions for the code officer? Seeing none, I'm gonna ask for a finding.
I can do this one, I think. In case number 24-2069, I move the city is proven by greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace Code did exist on the property located at 118 Glen Ridge Drive. Applicable codes 8-28 subsection A, subsection 1. This motion is based off the sworn testimony this board has received from Code Enforcement Officer, along with other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
All right, let's have a vote, take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? No nays? Next case?
Next case is case number 24-3354, City versus We Buy Houses LLC for the property located at 707 Aberdeen Circle. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of Section 8-28A1, permits application required. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Lori Smith. The city has evidence that the notice of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening again, Mr. Vice Chair and board members. Lori Smith, Code Compliance. This case originated proactively on July the 17th, 2024. My inspection revealed window installations without a permit. At this time, I left a door hanger with the reinspection date of the 24th of July, 2024. My inspection on August the 12th, 2024 revealed no change. Therefore, notice of violation was prepared with a compliance date of the 28th of August, 2024. No one was at home, so I posted the notice letter at the front door, and I requested copies be sent certified and first-class mailed to the owner of record. I also requested a copy be posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement. At this time, I would like to submit photographic evidence that was taken by me on August the 21st, 2024, showing the violations, and a copy of the stop work order in Central Square.
Yeah, please.
May I submit?
Yeah.
Exhibit number 1 shows a notice letter posted at the front door. Exhibit number 2 shows the stop work order in Center Square. As of today's date, the site is now in compliance. At this time, I'd like to submit an affidavit of compliance, that I'm just looking for a finding.
Any questions for the code officer? Yeah, please, go ahead.
Thank you.
No questions?
So the work, so now they got a permit, they're continuing the work, that's it.
They got the permit, sir. They got the permit for the windows.
That's great. Thank you.
All right, so
Compliant.
it is in compliance, looking for a finding or a motion?
Make a motion. Finding.
Okay.
In case number 24-3354, I move that the city has proven by a greater weight of the evidence the following violations of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 707 Aberdeen Circle. Applicable code section 8-28 subsection A subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer Lori Smith, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavits, and the notice of violation, all of which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that there be no fine imposed because the violations were brought into compliance prior to the date of this hearing.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No nays? All right, motion passes. Next case?
Last one.
Next case is case number 24-3477, City versus Nava Hilvano for the property located at 203 Redwood Avenue. The case is before the board based on an alleged violation of section 10-3B, sanitation and grass weeds. The case will be prosecuted this evening by Code Compliance Officer Doug Allen. The city has evidence that the notion of violation and notice of hearing were properly served.
Good evening once again, Mr. Vice Chairman and board members. Doug Allen, Code Compliance Officer. This case was originated by me on July 23rd, 2024 for the partial construction of a shed without a permit. I went direct to a notice of violation on that date with a reinspection date of July 29th, 2024. I posted the notice at the front door and a copy was posted at City Hall for the 10-day requirement, and copies were mailed, both regular and certified mail, to the owner of record. Our reinspection on November 1st showed no change, so I prepared a notice of hearing, and the case was scheduled for the November Municipal Code Board meeting. I would like to submit photographic evidence taken by me on July 23rd, 2024, and a screenshot of the stop work order.
Yes, please submit.
A permit package has been submitted this week to Community Development for plan review, but the site is not in compliance at this time, and I'm seeking the ruling.
All right. Any questions for the code officer?
So they applied for a permit, just hasn't been approved yet?
Correct.
When did they apply, do you know?
Sometime this week, Tuesday, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay, so takes a few days, like,
Why do you need a permit for a shed? I thought that it was dependent on the size of the shed.
If it's too close to the property line.
Yeah, there's a variety of reasons. Proximity to the property line to make sure it's got the proper setbacks and the structural integrity of the shed as such. That's,
I don't want their shed to wind up on my roof.
It is, yeah, a concern nowadays anyway,
Oh, yeah.
after a couple of hurricanes. yeah.
Well, we got another one coming. So,
Any other questions for Officer Allen? No? All right, so I'm looking for a finding then.
have we any contact with them? Like, other than they filed it, like, are they trying to comply? Does it seem like that? Like,
Well, they
aside from filing the permit?
requested for the permit, so.
Yeah, but, I mean,
It's just a matter of getting it,
if it's not approved, you know,
well, it'll be improved in the next
that's true.
30 days, so.
That's true.
I can't control whether it'll be approved or not.
Fair enough.
Okay,
All right,
I'll do the last
looking for a
one.
finding, okay.
I start the first, and then I like to do the last, just for Tom Barone. Yeah.
Call him Mr. Bookends.
Thank you, sir.
We love Tom Barone. So we can go home fast, no.
God, well,
Oh, no.
In case number 24-3477, I move that the city has proven by the greater weight of evidence the following violation of the City of Temple Terrace City Code did exist on the property located at 203 Redwood Avenue with the applicable code violation, Section 8-28, subsection A, subsection 1. This motion is based on the sworn testimony this board has received from the Code Enforcement Officer, Doug Allen, along with any other evidence, including photos, affidavit, and the notice of violation of all with which is received and entered as part of the record of this hearing. I further move that the said violation be corrected on or before December 11, 2024. If the respondent does not comply with this order on or before the day, they are ordered to pay a fine for each and every day the violation continue past the date set for compliance. Upon considering the following factors, the gravity of the violation, any actions taken by the violator to correct the violation, any previous violations committed by the violator, I move that the fine be $25 per day.
motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, let's take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No nays? All right, so I think we're done with the hearings for tonight. Now we're going to move on to unfinished business.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Under presentation of unfinished MTV cases, case number 23-0309, City versus Judith Ann Williams for the property located at 521 Courtney Drive. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Smith for Section 8-10213B, dated October 9th, 2024. Case 24-1084, City versus Hussam Elmas, Abir Atalib, and Jihad Al-Sanar for the property located at 7705 Leon Avenue. The deadline for compliance was October 9th, 2024. A fine of $25 per day began on October 10th, 2024. Case number 24-1497, City versus Ronaldo J. Kindred and Ashley Kindred for the property located at 7105 Gadsden Drive. The deadline for compliance was September 11th, 2024. A fine of $25 per day began on September 12th, 2024. Case 24-1810, City versus BAF Assets 5 LLC for the property located at 9901 Morris Glen Way. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Officer Allen for Section 10-3B, dated September 11th, 2024. Case 24-2298, City versus Shelby Winkler and Samuel Crawford for the property located at 6320 East 113th Avenue. The deadline for compliance was September 11th, 2024. A fine of $25 per day began on September 12th, 2024. Case 24-2322, City versus Betty and Technology Development Consultants LLC for the property located at 207 Woodbine Avenue. The deadline for compliance was September 11th, 2024. A fine of $25 per day began on September 12th, 2024. Case 24-2568, City versus Retz and Von Hoff for the property located at 423 South River Hills Drive. The deadline for compliance was September 11th, 2024. A fine of $25 per day began on September 12th, 2024. Case 24-2858, City versus Lonnie Mark Hammonds for the property located at 414 Park Ridge Avenue. The deadline for compliance was September 11th, 2024. A fine of $25 per day began on September 12th, 2024. Finally, case 243072, City versus Heritage at Temple Terrace LLC and Heritage at Temple 2 LLC for the property located at 10605 North 56th Street, number 101. An affidavit of compliance was submitted by Director Baroni for Section 10-34, dated September 10th, 2024. That concludes the agenda.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, there should be a correction because in case number 24-2322, 207 Woodbine Avenue, that should be in compliance, and Mr. Allen submitted an affidavit of compliance.
And I have.
That'd be on the top of page 3.
Top page.
Yeah.
Okay, that's in compliance.
All right, sir. Thank you.
I have a question for Tom, just because you remember I mentioned at the beginning of the hearing, in the case number 24-1084, I believe why he called me, because of the hurricane. We missed the hearing. He was gonna come and ask for extension. That's what he explained to me.
Right.
And then I directed him to talk to you, so his violation does not begin, or he said I don't know. This is the fence case.
No, I understand. So the conversation was that he hired a fence company. They were going to come out to repair the fence. But due to the hurricane, the fence company called and canceled that appointment. So it's out of he has no control over the fence company canceling that appointment. I sympathize with that. I told him to call me when the fence company comes out November 27th to build that fence and put that property in compliance.
Yeah, so I can be prepared. So his actual, but did he start accruing the $25 per day?
I had a conversation with him yesterday about that. No, there won't be a fine against him.
Yeah, because, it was mentioned now, it started, like,
Yeah,
in the unfinished business. It's just, I don't know how Ernie can explain that to me.
I mean, the bottom line on the case is it's not complied.
Yes.
And we understand the situation, but we can't put it into compliance until it is complied. I think Tom will handle that situation if and when it comes into compliance. We
Because
understand.
he's worried, because he was mentioning like this going up in money and all that. I don't want to be his advisor or anything, but, we here work for the public, so, I answer any question. I just want it to be legally also with Ernie telling me exactly what I should say, in case he calls me.
And also, remember, the October meeting was canceled
Yeah.
due to the hurricane.
Yes.
So he couldn't come back to the code board to ask for an extension. So I understand
Yeah.
where he's coming from.
Very good.
So the bottom line is he's not accruing any fines.
No, no,
Yes.
At the moment,
that's correct.
or until the next meeting.
Yeah, everything's out of his
All
control.
I can tell him, you're not accruing any fine.
Meeting was
till you take
canceled,
care of this.
and the fence company canceled because of
That's
the
why hopefully he can watch us and tell us.
Will we be revisiting this case at another, excuse me, at the next meeting? Is it?
No, I probably gonna be, he's having a fence company come November
Okay.
27th. So I will be submitting an affidavit of compliance.
Compliance, okay, cool, okay.
Okay.
All right, I guess there's no liens report tonight? That's not the case, okay, so, no, I would like to do some new business. First of all, we have a couple of new team members, right? We have Joe Hartness, right? Harless, sorry.
Welcome.
So, yeah. And also, we have a new code enforcement officer, Stephen
we-
Valley, is that?
Stephen Valley. So he's in the south zone. So anybody from Bullitt Parkway south to the river, there's a new sheriff in town. And so Stephen came on board about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So welcome, Stephen, and so far, so good.
Tell
Doing
us
a great
more
job.
about him. Was he in the code enforcement officer before, or
No,
that's his
no.
first time?
This is all new experience for him.
He seems doing good
Yes, he's doing
for the first time.
yep.
That neighborhood got hit rough too. A lot of trees down there.
Yes. A lot of big trees down
Yeah, a
there.
lot of big ones.
That's all I have,
He'll
sir.
come over.
And thank
Just
you
have one
for,
other, announcement or statement to say is it's just, David, the chairman is, just keep him in your thoughts and prayers. He's undergoing some treatment, which I understand is gonna be successful in the long run, so he'll be back hopefully sooner rather than later, as far as I'm concerned. But, so anyway, that's all I had. Anybody else have anything they'd like to, new business, bring up tonight?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All right. Meeting adjourned.